Hello, I just wanted to play this quick little game. Well, it's not really a game, it's more of a physics demonstration than a game, really. It's a it's a game it's been produced by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology to demonstrate relativistic effects and how things would look if you were going pretty close to the speed of light. They do that by slowing it down. And there's this little story about a little once upon a time in a quiet village there was a little child. Yes. Sadly, a little child fell into death's icy grip far too soon. The little child's spirit began the journey to become one with light. But the speed of light was too fast for the small and clumsy little spirit. Luckily, the spirit world is full of magical orbs that slow down light. Collect orbs slow down light to walking speed so you can finally move on. Or good level. Wait. So it's not really much of a storyline, but that's not really important. The whole idea behind this is that is to demonstrate what things will look like moving close to light speed. So as we collect these things, you'll see in the lower right corner, you see the little girl on the dial is how fast I'm going, and the big white bar is how fast light is going. As I collect more of these, light should, in theory, begin to start slowing down, or my speed relative to it will start going up. You're starting to see the distortions now. Yeah. See her speed in the lower right in that corner is changing. This all is an effect that some of you may be familiar with, referred to as the Doppler effect. If I stop moving briefly, things are within the visual spectrum now. You can see in the bottom visual light, infrared to the left, ultraviolet to the right. As I accelerate forward, running very close to the speed of light, I will affect C lower wavelength than I should because I'm accelerating into it and it looks higher wavelength than it normally would be. See, the infrared is brought into the visual light spectrum and visual light is thrown outside of its normal range. You can see this effect also goes sideways. If I go sideways, things to the left would be blue shifted, things to the right would be red shifted. See? You can also see, I forget what the other effect was, a shape distortion. If you run towards things going very close to light speed, they appear to distort in shape because your light is getting to you sooner than it normally should. You're not seeing that so much now, they'll demo it later. Once all the orbs are collected in this game, it'll turn off the Doppler shift so you can see the shape distortions more clearly. And so the game will run at a higher frame rate because I have this thing on pretty low graphics setting wise. Well, it's at like 640 by 480 or something right now, just so I can record regularly. It'll go all the way up to 1080, no problem. But the amount of calculations the computer is doing to handle this distortion as you're running around is pretty high, and it'll glitch out. There we go. Here, this is where we're starting to really see it. Now, if I stop, back to visual, and if I run forward, we're seeing all of the infrared spectrum comes fully into focus. Obviously, they can't really display that because, well, you can't see that. So, let's see, run right, you see blue shift to the right, red shift to the left. Run towards things. That coming in, that should be heat that's coming in, I guess. Okay. Also, if you run backwards, you see it blue shifts to nothing. Because the effect of running backwards, looking at it, is the red shift. And if you red shift too far, it becomes infrared. So if things normally visible light when you go backwards goes out of visual spectrum, and means that you can't see it anymore, whereas running at it brings heat and such that is normally not in visual spectrum into view, which is allowing you to see just things like this. I'm getting close. There's only 100 of these things. I'm at 80 now, so I'm gonna just finish this up real quick. Stop at 99 per minute, see the Doppler effect at its highest rating the game will go, and then go to 100 so you see the shape distortions, because the game will run at a much higher frame rate without the processor required to do the colors. Officially 90. Yes, I also note that when you start doing this, it's hard. It's actually, even though the only controls are walk around, it's incredibly difficult to do that because you're not exactly where you look. See, if I start to go left now, you'll notice that everything kind of distorts over before I actually start moving. See? It's so. Yeah, it's pretty simple in concept. Walk around, then you move and things shift, and you aren't really where it looks like you are because your motion's distorting light. We're at 94, 95, 96, 7, 98. I'm not sure where the other balls are that I've missed. They're generally not hard to find. The village, there they are. There they are. There's 99, 100. I'll hit 99. Then I'll run around a bit at the slowest speed of light with the slowest door. You can see. I think there's some coding issues with the plants. Let's see, if I go backward, you see things drop out of visual spectrum, but not the plants. I guess maybe they're just reflecting higher into ultraviolet, so that light isn't being fully redshifted out. But it doesn't seem likely that they'd be that visible while everything else was black. So I guess it's not perfect when it comes to showing things in that respect, but it's pretty good. Distortion. Alright, now for the last little orby orb. Alright. Now then, this is without the Doppler effect. I can go left. Whee! Yeah, it'll show you how things go. Warp beam. Especially when you look left. That's the way out gate, by the way. So I'll get to that in a minute. Distortion. So it's not quite obvious how things work, but I want to see what happens if I can look at something hopefully round. Is if I start running forward, this should appear to retract very briefly before coming at me. Because as you run forward, going very fast, you actually start to see the light coming in from the side of you in front of you because you're running into it as it comes in front of you. The result is things appear to zoom out initially. Like this. See, I ran forward. You saw how everything zoomed out? I'll try it again. I'll just look at this little gate and run forward, and things will zoom out, and then I'll start going forward. See? The reverse is also obviously true. If I go back, things will appear to zoom in. So this is going to be running backwards now. See? And sideways, things shift based on how close they are to me. Closer things get pushed more out of the view, and everything looks like it's rotated. So you're essentially beating the light that's normally. Under normal situations, the speed of light is essentially infinite. I mean, it's not, obviously, but it's so fast that, for all intents and purposes, it might as well be infinite as far as the way you perceive it. So this stuff is really weird. Zoom out as I run forward. Whee! Tree. Zoomy. Right. I think I've zoomed around enough. That Distortions, distortions. Since that's the way I'm gonna see how fast I can get it to zoom by backing up all the way to this fence and running at the outgate. Running. Ah. Alright. That's what the speed of light, that's what things would look like if the speed of light was really, really slow. And about what it would look like if if you were going near the speed of light. Of course, if you were going near the speed of light, you'd go plowing through everything. So, neat little game demonstrating. Fun. I'll just put this up. You can pause and read this if you want. Because I don't have the best voice in the world for reading. I see heat! Doodle, I see heat! Yes, that's running forward, you would see the heat. Running backward, you will see ultraviolet. Ah, guys, it's too bright. It's too bright. Yeah, that's the other problem. If you run into light, you hit a lot of photons all at once. And stuff gets brighter and bluer. And here's the distortion I'm talking about. Light always moves at the same speed. The speed of light is constant. The distance and times of the world around you have to warp. Your time is different from the time in the world. Time dilation. Your distances are different from the distances in the world. Lorentz that's the word I can remember. Lorentz transformation. That's the thing that's all stretched out and contracted and such as you move around. He goes, you have to be much closer for. But how about space stretch? It seems so. Science! I like the little Einstein science doodle. It's adorable. Normally, last. Photon for something so bright, you sure are slow.